This weekend, as we honor the Holy Family, it's tempting to think of Mary and Joseph as they appear in the nativity set, perfectly sculpted figures. But in reality, the lives of Mary and Joseph were far from perfect. The story of at least the first two-thirds of the Holy Family is the story of a teenage mother pregnant before marriage. It's the story of an anxious father who confronted scandal, who planned a divorce. It's the story of a family forced to live as refugees, escaping to Egypt, where their ancestors in faith had been held as slaves. And as we just heard in the gospel, when Jesus gets a little older, the story of the Holy Family is the story of a missing child who, for at least a few days, caused his parents much anxiety. They were frightened. And there's more. Mark's gospel describes an incident where the family of Jesus, it doesn't say who those people are, but the family of Jesus came to seize him because they were concerned about his mental state. And not long afterwards came Jesus' violent passion and death. Now tradition tells us that Joseph had probably died before all of that, so our focus is on Mary, and Mary, during Jesus' passion and death, would have witnessed unbelievable events and would have suffered unimaginable grief. Now, it's no coincidence that in Catholic churches throughout the world today, during this Christmas season, the nativity set sits in pretty close proximity to the crucifix. The joy, the good news of the nativity is in close proximity to what would have at first been considered the tragedy of Jesus' death on the cross. So to speak of the Holy Family is to speak of a family that knew suffering, that knew struggle. In other words, the Holy Family presents us with a picture of ourselves and of our brothers and sisters throughout the world. The Holy Family stands beside parents who are anxious about their children, worrying for their welfare. They walk with immigrants and refugees, separated from those they love. They comfort teenage mothers and single parents. They console the prisoner, the outcast, the bullied, the scorned, and the parents who love them. And they offer solace and compassion to any mother or father who has suffered the loss of a child. Fortunately, Mary and Joseph were not alone as they endured everything they had to endure. They did it by the grace of God. They prayed. They hoped. They trusted. Even when at times they may have felt a little bit overwhelmed, we know what feeling a little bit overwhelmed feels like, and we can have confidence, we can trust that God's grace gives us strength too. To every parent who wonders or worries, who questions or doubts, this little family we call holy offers us encouragement, offers us hope. The nativity set, whether this one or the one in your own home, represents a future that Mary and Joseph could not have predicted. The nativity set represents hardships that they never could have imagined. It represents miracles that they never could have dreamed of. Their lives tell a story that simple wood in combination with plaster simply cannot tell. It's a story of resilience and prayer and faith. It's the very beginning of the greatest story ever told. This weekend challenges us to make their story a part of our own.